Now, what what are you looking at?
I'm just looking at, it's on my phone, and I'm looking at one of the pages from that article where it mentions instruction starts with the rolls.
Now, you're referring to a modern drummer expose on several teachers, at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Including Murray Spivack.
This is the Murray Spivak segment the Murray Spivak interview that I'm referring to. So it mentions here, instruction starts with the rolls, 2 wrist strokes on each hand with 16th notes, starting at quarter note equals 72, and working up to a maximum of 152 to 160 beats per minute. The rebound is taken as a separate exercise, starting and ending at the same metronome settings. That's interesting. So Murray would have his students play doubles on the wrist at those higher tempos, like 152, quarter note equals 152, 160.
Well, I don't remember him getting that far with me.
Oh, okay.
But I know about that. I know that was his thinking. And remember, Richard Wilson and Murray had disagreements, not directly at each other, but some student would come into Richard Wilson's and there would be, just like I have, Murray Spivack's notation. For instance, here's Murray, in pencil, up to, and he's at 80, a half note equals 80 to 84.
Oh.
And no, we're talking page 5 in stick control, and then Dick had me at half, or had his students. So perhaps every student had, distinct metronomic indications.
Yes.
I do know about that as well, depending on where you were, and certain things happening. But so Dick has me at 72 to 80.
Yes, but that was on the rebound. He had you play those stickings on the rebound, right?
Right. What I understand, Murray thought that really doubles went up to, I thought, I've never heard 160, maybe. It's in the article, like it's correct. But Murray would have you play, I thought that his peak for rebounds, doubles, was 152.
Yes.
And Dick Wilson would have you up at like 192.
Wow.
Maybe 208. Maybe at that point, yeah. So he would, he again had a different perspective with regards to speed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's cool. It's really neat that you're doing your homework, spending some time learning about Murray Spivack.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I revisit this article from time to time, and I read through it again. He says something. There's something interesting here in the next paragraph. Between the maximum, because I think you spoke to me about this once. Between the maximum speed of the wrist strokes and the slowest speed of the rebound are transition points where the drummer switches from wrist to rebound at the same rate of speed. The development of these transition points is very important in helping to facilitate stick control.
Okay. It's at a certain point where wrist turns as doubles turn into rebounds. There's kind of there's a natural,
yes,
a kind of development or relationship that occurs at certain speeds, so that now the surface begins to take over, right? And you can rely on, depending on how bouncy it is, because playing on a towel or a pillow, that would be different. There's going to be no rebound uphill, really. But a gel pad, you might get, depending on how reboundy, how bouncy that pad is, you might get 2, maybe 3 rebounds. So it has to do with the force that the surface provides. At a certain point, things will turn into rebound. Right? Okay, so one of the things, so we're learning to turn your wrist for one note is going to have a lot to do with everything.
Yes.
It will have a lot to do, for instance, with what you're talking about, playing doubles on the wrist, right? But can we even play just one note? Or can we play singles? And we were working on this Murray Spivack singles exercise, if I recall, right? Why don't you pull that out? Let's start at the beginning. Right? There couldn't be anything more. It's a single stroke exercise.
Yeah, we'll
It's really.
next lesson we can revisit some of that article as well.
Well, let's see what happens in this lesson. Let's
take a look at some.
These things, these lessons are often, they grow organically, you know, and depending on where you are and
yeah.
The understanding comes with being able to demonstrate something, because that means that you really got it. So let's see what's actually happening here, because those words are really helpful, right? But now we want to put those words into practica and make them real. Right? So now I had you at 40. This is very single strokes exercise, not to be confused with the single stroke, because the single stroke is something different. What is the single stroke? Just for the benefit of anyone who's checking this out.
Well, I mean, according to Murray, the single stroke was a combination of the upstroke and downstroke.
Okay. Well, exactly. Two of the 7 basic strokes. One is simply an upstroke. Then he as well has the downstroke. Then he has the single stroke, because he thought that the utilization of up to down was so prevalent in the technique that up to down motion, or making a note on the way up and down stroke, was so important that he called it one thing. He referred to it as the single stroke. Now, we're talking about single strokes, not the single stroke. I just don't want that to be confusing, because now we're into turning our wrists for singles. So can we do that? All right? Now, if you're at 40, you're good. I get to practice my left hand match. You know, the only time I seem to be playing match grip in the left, you know, on a gig, is if I'm playing cross stick.
Yes.
And then I go to start to maybe do some soloing, and suddenly I'm like playing with the butt end. but there's just not a lot of match grip playing in what I do.
Yeah.
So I've worked so hard on the traditional. I find it quite fascinating. Okay, so metronome at 40. Okay, next. 1 and 2 and 3. Right? 1, 2, and 3. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Go ahead. Okay, now you're
1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and.
okay, Joe. See these little things? They really mean something. As if you are reading music, so to speak. It's an exercise. So, but you're reading the written note. I don't see any accents. I don't see any change of I don't see any dynamics other than we decided that you decided that you were going to turn this high. Okay. And so if we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and, the and isn't louder so that you can nail it. So that you can really land with them. It doesn't go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and, even if it's just a little louder, because you're turning a little higher. We want to regulate the height of turn. So we have to decide. So once you decide, stick with it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so Joe, where do you feel this is a lever system thing? Remember Richard Martinez? Everyone's Fulcrum, Fulcrum, Fulcrum. Finally, Richard Martinez Googled it. Right? And the university, the Canadians, give it. You got to give it up. The Canadian, the University of Alberta, had the description. It's a medical university. Had the description of the 3 classes of lever systems with drawings. It was great. I've got it. It's here somewhere. In fact, I just saw it in my studio. You should probably have that if I haven't sent that to you. You should look at that. I mean, there was a period where I was like Googling trebuchet, right? Looking into all of the different lever class systems, catapults, the whole thing, right? Because it's all really a lever system. So there's this idea in what is a lever system that there is a moment of force. The moment of force is where the force first contacts, and believe me, I'm not an engineer, right? But I get the idea. But I believe that the moment of force is where force first makes contact with the lever arm, or the beam, right? What I want you to consider is the moment of force as you make contact with the surface. Where do you feel that in your hand? Go ahead and play, and just meditate on it. Same speed. Okay, so where do you feel it?
The moment of force. I don't know. I was really feeling it in the 3-point grip. I was really feeling it like in the crook, this bend of the first segment of my middle finger.
You said, okay, now I thought you said 3-finger grip. We
Yeah.
start with that.
But also the channel between the pad of the thumb and the crook of the forefinger.
Okay, well, this is important. I want you to consider, you see, if you're feeling the moment here, try this. I'll hit you to some different ways of thinking and feeling this. So I want you to consider the moment of force up in the first finger and thumb. Isn't that what most people do? They think that the fulcrum, when you're playing fingers, the first finger and thumb is the fulcrum. But we're not playing with fingers. Later on, Dick Wilson would get you into fingers, but we're not playing fingers. We're using a fulcrum and allowing the stick to rock over it for rebounds and not pulling for every note. So that the fulcrum is going to be somewhere else. But let's consider the fulcrum between the first finger and thumb, index finger and thumb, in other words. Go ahead and play. Just think of it there.
Okay.
Try to feel it there. Okay. You feel that? You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's your fulcrum, that means that although we're not utilizing the fulcrum because we're not rebounding.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what Richard Martinez refers to as fulcrum potential. I don't think Dick ever talked about fulcrum potential, right? But we have fulcrum potential. We need to know where that fulcrum is at all times, whether we're taking advantage of it or not. So now you're going to go to play rebounds, but we know that in this technique, the first finger and thumb are only the fulcrum if we're using fingers. So how are you going to go from singles to doubles? See, this is kind of where you were going in the beginning, right? How can you navigate from singles to doubles if you're thinking fulcrum forward, first finger and thumb as you're playing singles, and then as you go to play rebounds, now where is it? And you can use fingers and it won't move. But so what I want you to do now is I want you to play, and I want you to consider the fulcrum in the middle finger, and again, and this is something that Dick Wilson talked about. He said the fulcrum is a point of not of balance, but of imbalance, right? So that we need to have a fulcrum that isn't. I don't know if I can even do it. That isn't perfectly balanced, right? We want a fulcrum that is head heavy, a little bit depending on how head heavy you want it to feel. And so we're going to notice that the stick is going to want to roll forward. That's its propensity. If you're just holding the sticks, you see you're not holding your upper arm, it's just hanging, right? But you are holding up your forearm, aren't you? You actually have to hold that weight up. Then you're putting a stick in your hand. It has weight too. Okay? And it wants to fall forward. Doesn't it want to fall forward? Okay, so the fulcrum, I want you to consider the fulcrum middle finger just a little bit forward, just a little forward on the middle finger. Okay, now we're really well, we're becoming more analytical. We're looking at this with what would be a more accurate lens. So go ahead and try that. Just a little forward, playing the same number 6 single strokes, and consider where you're going to feel that fulcrum. Don't change your height for turn. Now try this. This is a Jack Verga thing. Jack talks about if you want to feel what a wrist turn is, leave the stick in the middle finger, put the stick in the middle finger, and just wave it. Good. Really in the middle finger. Now you can really feel it.
Yeah.
Hang in that middle finger. Put your grip back together. Right? Because look, if you were going to turn like this, there's no doubt about where the fulcrum is, right? Where else are you going to feel it? You have to feel it in the middle finger now. Right? Now build your grip. 3-finger grip. Fourth and fifth don't have much to do with it, or essentially don't have anything to do with it. I don't even have my 4th and 5th on, and it works. But I don't want to hold them off like that. It's a little bit uncomfortable. Okay? So you really want a 3-finger grip, and you want to be focusing on the middle finger, just a little in front of you. Go ahead and keep playing through this exercise, and keep that in mind.
Okay.
Next, we're going to move on to number 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Turn a little higher for me. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Do me a favor, just do this for me. Do this for me. The stick in your left hand, go ahead and just tap it. I want to hear it. Go ahead. Okay, now put the other stick in the same hand and do that. They sound pretty close. Go ahead, put the other stick back in your hand.
Sounded odd. Let me see.
Now the other stick.
Okay.
They're pretty close. When I hear you playing, one has a higher pitch. Now I know we're getting into what might be overly subtle aspects, but we're trying to get them to sound as close to each other as possible. You hear that?
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, keep going. The right's higher. Change the sticks. Put them. Exchange sticks. Let's see what happens. Now it's the other way. So maybe it is a stick. Maybe it's a stick. We're not sure. Okay, so keep going, but we want to listen to ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Get those sticks to sound the same. If we're holding the sticks with the same grip, right? It's the same company. We're supposed to look at the back of the stick, perhaps, and try to match the thickness of grain. Well, both sticks have a similar density, but right, so they have a similar pitch. Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joe?
Yes.
See how solid it is?
Yeah.
Now, I do have to See it? Ah, I can feel when it's right. And it has a certain look. So you are not sounding as solid as I sound, right? It's not bad. So why not? All this is, Joe. And this is such a big part of the technique. It's like the talk about fundamentals. I mean, it would be the first thing you really teach a student. We talked about it probably at the first lesson. I know we did. Okay, so see the stick is lying in the hand. This is kind of why I'd like to have a side. I don't know. I don't want to break up the flow of the lesson too much, but this is why I like to have you able to swivel and give me a side profile view. But you see, look, see what's happening? It's laying in that middle finger, flat as a thumb. See, it's really here. And I let my other fingers kind of hang out, right? But they have very little to do with it. I just don't want to hold them off to an extreme extent, because that feels uncomfortable. So, but all we're doing is see how it looks? See how it looks? It always comes trying to come back to the floor, right? And it's just a wrist turn. So give me a side profile, because I need to see what your hand is doing.
Okay.
See, this isn't just about being able to play. We're only on what, the third or fourth iteration. We're at number 7, so that's the third iteration. It gets way faster, but this is really as much to do with about how to hold the stick and get a sound, right? Because you can have all the speed in the world, squeezing the heck out of the stick, choking the stick, which is the instrument, right? Okay, I'm going to swivel back around if I need to come back up.
How's this?
Just show me your left hand. Just your left hand. Yeah. Go ahead. Just turn your wrist. Play wrist turns. Turn higher. See? That's why I need to have a side view, because that's not correct. It's not correct. So let me see how I can help. And I don't want to make a correction that gives you some other bad habit. That's kind of what happened to me, you know. Like your hand, you're clutching the stick. So then what do? Squeezing with my fingers to get the seemingly required result, but it's not. We leave all of this alone. And now look, let's do it in slow motion. It's going to feel different, but it'll give you the essential aspect of how to think about it, really how to feel it, but we have to marriage the mind and the hand, okay? So if you just turn up slowly, what happens? Just turn up this high. Okay, what happened in your grip?
Try that again.
Cool. What happened to the fingers on the way up?
I felt a little bit of an opening, not too much.
Yeah. I totally get it, man. Believe me. Okay, this is the stuff that confused me for years. Maybe I can help. You know, the best The best therapist is the best patient, right? Okay. So if I'm just, look, I know we talked about middle finger and we know that that's our moment of force. It's our fulcrum potential in palm down in the right hand, or in the left hand if you're math. Not playing traditional, it's different. Okay, and what we're just, and so if I turn up, see now, show me that the stick is lying in your hand. Why is it so hard for you to take your other, look. No, just your thumb. Just take your thumb off. Come on, give me a thumbs up. Show me that you're, there you go. It's laying in your hand. Is it laying on your fourth and fifth?
No.
Well, look, mine is. Mine's laying in my hand.
Okay, you want the fourth and fifth in there?
Sure, lay in your hand. See, I just don't want you to do anything weird with them. That I know. Again. Okay, and see, look, it's laying in your hand, and it's being countervailed by the palm, right? Or it would fall forward. No, it would. If your palm wasn't there, the stick would want to do that, right? Okay, so the stick is countervailing to hold it up. All right. So put your thumb back on. Okay, it's laying in your hand. You identify that the middle finger, a little forward on the middle finger, is your fulcrum potential or fulcrum. Okay, but nothing else. That's it. Now we're going to slowly turn up to here. Is it still laying in your hand?
Yep.
It is. Look, it is, isn't it? Right? Put your thumb back on and come back down. Just come back down. Don't even touch. Is it still laying in your hand?
Yep.
Right. So from here to here, nothing is happening. You wanted to feel the fingers open for whatever reason. Do they? I don't think they do.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
You're feeling something different now. Maybe this is going to help you be more solid, or part of what will help you be more solid. Now, very cool. Now, let's come up to here. You can't. You can only come up to here. Okay. See, now there's something else, but this is never going to change. These variables that are seemingly very fluid, well, how am I going to know? Here it does this, and then here it does this, and all you do is let the stick lie in your hand. And you have to learn what a wrist turn is. And if you leave your arm alone, the body will teach you. Your body will teach you. Watch. Okay, we're going to go over this again. This is so fundamental. It's like, this is for babies, but it's not. This is it. This stuff is really simple, actually. Okay, so we're turning up to here. See, that's perfect. What did your forearm, and come back. What did your forearm do? Do you even know? What's neat is you don't need to know. Buddy Rich maybe didn't know what he was doing. We don't know. He wasn't the teacher guy. Maybe did, maybe didn't. Maybe he just played by feel. That's what Dick Wilson would say. But Dick had that inquisitive mind, and he was able to teach what it is that he did. Okay, so go on and turn up as high as you did and watch what the forearm does. What? No. The same turn. I want you to notice your forearm. It was perfect. You did perfect. Yeah. What happened to your forearm?
Well, the forearm is remaining still.
It's what?
It is still. I mean, let me observe. Let me see.
Okay, go ahead.
It wasn't much in the way of the forearm. All
right. I want to keep this moving, so I'm going to give you some of this stuff and not be entirely Socratic. Okay? And maybe this needs to be more like you want to see my hand and the pad, so maybe that's more centered, right? Because I was okay. So we're coming up to here. Watch me. I'm going to copy that Toronto drummer that everybody's talking about, Joe Iannuzzi. Here's what he does. I'm going to copy you. Watch. My forearm. Can you see it? Yeah. Here. You see it? Don't. I'm copying you. You don't need to do it. You already got this. Watch me, because you can't seem to see yourself. Maybe you don't have the split screen. Can you see yourself in the return?
It's small. I mean, it's really small.
I'll try to, next time I'm going to teach you how to split the screen. There's a way to do it now. Skype has put that back, or created another way to do it. Okay. Okay, watch. So watch me, because so I'm bigger, right? You can see me. Watch my forearm. Watch my forearm. It's moving.
Yeah, there's a bit of that countervailing.
You bet there is. And this isn't a, oh yeah, there's a bit of counterbalance. See, because you didn't notice that. That might have something to do with the fact that you could only turn up this high. Because you kept doing this. It doesn't keep doing that. It does that if you turn this high. Watch it over and over. Watch it. Down, let's see, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. See it? Okay, well that's turning this side. If I come up this side, watch what happens. Look. Now look, it's moving, Joe. It's moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
How is it moving differently than before? Just watch me. No, just watch me for a sec. Let me gab. How is it moving differently than previously, than at a lower height of the turn? You see it? You see this?
Yeah.
Look, where's my forearm? No, yours is here. Mine is. No, yours really is here. Nope. I can see it perfectly. Your forearm is almost parallel to the ground.
Yes.
Mine does this.
Yeah.
All the way up. Okay, watch. Come on up behind your. Come up behind your. Oh, come up even higher. Let it dip behind. Go crazy. Isn't that where the body would go?
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowing your body to do what it really wants to do. Okay. And look, we're in that Murray Spivack out of the video, right? With Louis Belson. You're in the position to, and now you can come down. And if you want, you can even add some thrust with your fingers. Now we have to pull with the fingers. We're not doing that right now, and we're not going up like this. This is a Murray Spivack thing, a little different than Dick. We'll get there, but see, now you would just go. Isn't that the top of a throw? Isn't that what Murray would do? Okay, so you're not allowing your arm to react to your wrist. Okay, no. I didn't. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to tell you right now, but I just pointed it out. We're just turning our wrist. So come on up here. Come on, turn up here. Better. Okay. Let's do it slowly, because really we were in slow motion, weren't we? Okay, now slowly start to come down. Just slowly. Boom, stop. Now, okay, come back up. Should be I want to be in the shot. Away from the palm, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wants to go this way. It wants to go down.
About a finger width that's away from the palm, yeah.
It wants to go down, right? Now, as you start to turn back, and the forearm has reacted to the wrist. Now, as you start to come back, boom, right there, it falls into the palm. There, stop. Now it's in the palm. Hey, look, it's laying in the hand again.
Mm-hmm.
Now come down a little further. Like really laying in the hand, and it feels heavier, doesn't it? Come on, keep coming down. Gotten out of position because I'm trying to have everybody see me, and see, now you can really feel the weight. You can really feel it wanting to go this way, right? It wants to go this way.
Feeling that, yeah, absolutely. I got to tap into that.
There you go. So there's a lot of information right there. So go ahead. Got this like a student throne, and it's because it's the only darn thing that goes low enough for me. Okay. So first, we're going to rediscover the countervailing aspect. It has to do with only turning as high as you were for the single stroke exercise, so 4 or 5 inches. There it is. It's laying in your hand. You're aware of the fulcrum potential of the middle finger. Come on down, nice and slow. Boom. Now just do that in real time. Just go boom. Let's go clunk. Lift it up and go clunk. Don't hold it at the top though. There you go. Just clunk. Lift it up. Come on, lift it. Boom. Clunk. Clunk. Yeah, feel it right in the middle finger. What we talked about.
That was a better one.
It sounds more solid, doesn't it? And that's
Yep. Absolutely, yeah.
There you go. Now in slow motion, just remind yourself of what it feels like to turn up, like this.
To full height?
Yeah. No, you're not feeling it. It would do this. It would do this. It would go. Whoop. I would start to become engaged. Yeah, like something like that. No? And then you're just going to turn down. Boom! Nice and solid. Nice and solid. It's like you're a different drummer. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't care because they just want to play cool grooves. You know, they want to learn their tunes and, you know, play some stuff around the toms and impress all the ladies. But you're going to sound, excuse me, bless you, but this right away you sound more solid. Okay, so come on back around. Come back now. Right, so that's just something you're going to need to spend some time with.
Now, I'll work on those different heights of turn that you showed me before.
Okay, yeah. So you'll see that that's. Come on up now. If you're going to come up higher, so you go. Don't do it. Just let it follow. There you go. Better. Better. There you go. Okay. You're supposed to leave on a high note, like George Costanza gets to the party. As soon as he enters the door, he says something funny. The whole room cracks up and he says, "See you later. This was a great party." Always leave on a high note. So, okay, Joe, awesome job. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on this, and yet I think it was worth it, right? And most people go, "Oh, I don't know, who can't do this?" It's meaningless. It doesn't. Well, okay, so we're getting into this. We're nerdy about this. We're taking this stuff seriously, right? Okay, so I want you to. I don't want to spend any more time, but that's what's happening. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. So can you see it all work? Can you see this?
Yeah.
You can see it, can't you? Just watch. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5 and. 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 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and. 1 2 3 4 5 6 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Right, and I probably started it faster than I should have. I was clearly starting well above 40, so it can get really. You start this. Should be able to eventually get this up to 52, 54.
Yes.
Maybe faster. And here's where Murray and Dick might get into an argument. You know, and it might have to do with which one of them was faster. Because maybe Dick would say, "How come I can do it?" I don't know. I know that Dick was his virtuistic student, and Murray had Richard Wilson record all of the strokes. So he had them documented and recorded. It's too bad we can't find that. It'd be awesome. All right, so there's that, right? So what we're doing is we're turning. Right? Now we're playing doubles. Now, you see we're talking about see it rebounding? See it rebounding? Okay, actually rebounding. At a certain point, the surface takes over. Okay, so now we'll move on to roll strokes for a second. Okay? Because it's essentially we need to have a wrist turn. We can turn doubles. We can turn singles into doubles as well. See, there's that solid wrist turn. It turns into doubles. Okay? But if you're playing your wrist turns like this, fulcrum forward, then you're going to go to play doubles, and you won't be at the floor. You're more like this with a fulcrum that's really based on a fulcrum that has to do with using fingers. Okay, so let's just see if you can play a roll stroke on the wrist. All right, gotta put the metronome on at 40. Okay, my mistake. We've done this before. Let's start at 60. Let's just see what it looks like. Where did Murray say he started the? Where he started? How did he put that?
Quarter note equals 72.
So he would start doubles on the wrist at 72.
16th notes. That's what the article said.
Well, I don't think Richard Wilson obeyed that rule, right? Why wouldn't we want to practice it slower? We don't need rebounds. See, rebounds have to be at a certain speed.
Exactly.
Rebounds start to happen at 16th notes, maybe around 92.
Yeah.
That's when the surface takes over. Something like that, I think. Okay, so here we're on the wrist. We can play as slow as we want. We can spend a day in between notes. Going out for a cigarette. I could be back in a minute. Okay, that's what we're doing. So 40 as 16th notes. Just let me hear doubles.
For 40, okay.
Hmm? Pitch. Change sticks for me. Change sticks. So change them again for me. Okay, see, it's not the sticks. It's not the sticks. It's not the sticks. I figured that out. Okay, your left sounds higher no matter what. So that means that you're not doing what we just talked about, probably. Remember, what does a wrist turn look like? It just lies in the hand. You know there's fulcrum potential. You know there's a 3-finger grip, right? So when we really get this thing rebounding for doubles or for multiple rebounds, it's rocking through this narrow channel, right? See? It's not rocking through this channel because there is no channel. You don't want a wide fulcrum. Murray would say, "Do you ever see a teeter-totter with a big wide fulcrum?" Of course not, right? It's narrow fulcrum, but we can let the stick lie in our hand and just really feel the weight of the stick in the hand, and then you'll be able to recognize fulcrum potential. Yeah, see your grippiness. But so what does a one wrist turn look like? Remember, we have to consider everything. We have to consider how it feels in the hand. Remember, nothing happens. You thought that it opened up on the way up. Now maybe if we have enough torque, it might pry the fingers up. But here's how you'll get that. You'll get it just by learning that the hand does nothing. Just leave it alone. Is your forearm countervailing as it was earlier? I think it is. See, it sounds pretty good. Why can't you just do 2 of those? There you go, and 2 in the other hand. Now remember, the forearms has to relate to the wrist in both hands similarly.
The left hand sounds higher pitched.
A little closer. Okay, so what we don't want to do is what you did when you started. I don't want to hear this. I want you to lift it up and turn. It's this simple. If you could consider all the elements I just described, you will feel it. Right? Nice and relaxed. Happening. Okay, you're feeling it. Okay, here's what you're missing now. Now we're going to add another thing. I know this is, it can be tedious, or it can be best part of your day, depending on your perspective, right? See, remember I said, I'm not saying this stuff for no reason. Remember I talked about feeling the moment of force? Middle finger. We know front of the middle finger a little bit. Middle finger. Just keep it as simple as possible right now. See, when I see you do this, why? Why is that happening? What do you do? You could have my old habit. Maybe you're squeezing. See, it makes the stick go up. Go and squeeze a little. It was the right that was doing it really. No. Squeeze.
There I'm squeezing.
Right, stick came up, didn't it? It even forces the wrist up. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it? There you go. Don't do that. That's not laying in the hand. Show me what. Look. Here's it laying in the hand. Yeah, put your thumb on. That. Stop. Why did that happen? You went like this. It was perfect. You put your thumb on and it went like this.
I know. Look. You do it again.
It popped up. See, maybe we're figuring it out. Okay, take your thumb off again, let it lie in the hand. Your thumb looks a little, sorry, you have a perfectly normal thumb. It's just that when you are creating a grip, somehow when you take it off, it just doesn't look like, look at mine. It's just the natural contour of a thumb. You take it off from the muscles in here. Come on, just do this. Why is it doing this? Doesn't it, watch, look. Doesn't it stay concave a little bit? Isn't that how a thumb works, I think? Yeah, see how my thumb has a shape? Maybe yours has a shape. Why does it just change? You want it on the flat of the thumb. Get the flat of the thumb. More to the back of it. A little more to the back of it. All right, okay. All right, so it's laying in the hand, isn't it? Now go ahead and squeeze. Now it's not laying in the hand. And the bead went up a little.
Yeah.
That's why you want, watch, that's why you need it laying in the hand. That's why you want to feel it land on the middle finger. Stay with me now, because this will help you find the floor. The floor is here. The floor is here. The floor is here. And if you're doing this, this is really not what we're looking for. It's not laying in the hand. You're not listening to Murray. Trust Murray. The stick should be very flat to the surface. I can't quite tell if it is. Is it really flat to the surface, or is it like this? Okay. Okay, now turn once. No, you don't stop at the top. Just turn smoothly. Yeah, okay. This time make a note. Do it again. There. See how low you are? Think about the fulcrum. Moment of force. Don't choke the stick so that it's not lying in the hand. Try it again. There you go. And the other hand. Other thumb. Really good. Oh, it sounds so much higher that time.
I know.
Yes, same thing. There you go. So why don't we play eighth notes? Put the metronome up to 60. It's gonna be slow. Still might be too fast. Put the metronome to 50. Where do you have the metronome?
I have it at 60 right now.
Well, put the metronome down to 48.
48?
Yeah. When you play quarter notes, I want eighth notes. That might be a little too slow, although that'll work too. Let's try eighth notes.
Okay, eighth notes.
Remember, Joe,
Oh, sorry, eighth notes.
I also want you to, one other thing to consider, don't go slamming down. So just think gravity. Look, just gravity. Gravity. So we have gravity, we have moment of force, we have fulcrum, and we have floor. We have wrist turn. Nice gravity. Lift it up, let it come down and go. Zonk. Okay, 7-stroke roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Your wrist turn, a good wrist turn improves your throw. Don't do something funny with your grip as you go up. Other way. Better throw. Hey, this is helping your throw. Interesting. Because you know you got to feel that. That's part of a throw, isn't it? Isn't that part of the feeling? Your left's better than your right throwing. Here, watch my throw. Watch the timing. Look, there's not even an upstroke. Try with me. Try to get that through. Join me.
Okay.
So it does that. It does this. There's fulcrum potential. Feel it. Put your grip down. Put your grip on. Look how more flat my thumb is. Look how much more rounded it is. I don't know. Maybe it's the shape of your thumb. Okay, but we're here, right? We'll come up. Come back down. Come back down. Okay, we'll go up. I have to start with a relaxed arm. I won't get it right. We're doing this. I'm not overly bad. I don't know. Hope you're not too bad. Okay, not too bad. All right. So we got that. Feel the fulcrum potential. Feel the fulcrum. Fulcrum potential. It's really laying in the hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Take it. Yeah. See, it's just laying there, dangling like that. Put your thumb on. You know there's fulcrum potential in the middle finger. Okay. So you can just stay there. Fulcrum potential. Fulcrum. Whoa! Now I can really feel the fulcrum. Whoa! There it is. And follow it down. Like that. Do it one more time. Fulcrum potential. Come on. I want you to, I want to throw. I want it in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Yeah. Better. Okay. Now, see if you can play a 7-stroke roll with the accent starting on the left with the accent in the right, so that you can put that into practicum with regards to playing this roll stroke. Cover everything. All right, that's okay. See, so that's going to come along. Watch where you're waiting at the left starts to creep up. So what we're getting out of this, I know it's ridiculously slow, right? But what we're getting out of this is we're establishing a floor. We're establishing a floor. Throw, right? There's the throw, which you're getting now at a slower speed, but that's where it's going to go. Okay, and then there's going to be upstrokes. Right now, there's no upstroke, and you know what? To spend time working on an upstroke when what you're working on doesn't involve an upstroke at this speed, doesn't make, yeah, that's good. Doesn't make sense. And you know what? I believe is that once you really start to feel this, throw. That's part of leaving the bead down, because now you have the potential. We have fulcrum potential. We have strike potential. There, I made some Kevin Crabbism. We have contact potential, right? Because look, if we really stay with me, just because I'm buttoning this up, but if we really identify what is a throw. See, we're so close to the surface, Murray. Look, see if we leave it. I'm not making a note. This is an up motion, not an up throw, right? But Murray would say, you're so close to the surface, you almost can't help but tap. Oh, it's what there? Tap, 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 or no tap, not tap. But if right in position, it'd be really easy to tap. So the gig is you've got to get this throw. That's what you need to get. The upstroke is kind of built in. Okay, so today you've had certain revelations, I believe. I mean, clearly, and when you listen back, you'll hear how much more solid you sound. Okay, and aren't you playing in a backbeat band right now?
Yeah.
Oh, this is perfect, because you don't want to go in playing in a backbeat band, competing with, well, I know that there are some really great drummers in Toronto, And right, and we want to, when we always want to sound solid. Playing a ballad, we want to sound solid.
Exactly.
This is nice and relaxed. Everything flows. It sounds settled, but especially playing rock, you know, they're counting on feeling that they want that gut punch, right? Want everything right on the core of the note. That's another big deal. Right on the core of the note. And Richard Wilson, I'll leave you with this. Richard Wilson, when it came to backbeats, he'd say, what's important isn't how loud your backbeat is necessarily. What's important is the consistency. It lands in the same place every time. I don't mean, and probably literally in the same place on the surface every time, because we're always playing on a dime, essentially, maybe a quarter. But it lands in the same place every time. It's not how loud. You don't have to go, ah! You just have to go, bah, 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 bah. It doesn't have to be, bah. It doesn't have to be that loud. But it's the solidity of you allowing your body to work the way it really wants to work. And that's what you got today. You realize, I'm not in a great position here to be in camera, but realize that when you turn up, there's some movement here. And you realize that when you turn way up, look, you turn way up, you don't want to restrict this. You want to leave it alone. You'll find out what it will tell you. It will allow your body to teach you. Hey man, good job turning off the camera.